An important thing about building websites or apps of any kind today is paying attention to screen size. We know people use their computers, laptops, sometimes with big monitors, sometimes with small. More importantly, we know people use tablets, and we know people use their phone for as much as 50% or more of the amount of time that they spend on their web. A quick example for Bildr, I can tell you that of the new users, the first time that they come to us, even though 99.9% of people use Bildr, the application, on their computers, 65% of new traffic to Bildr is on a mobile device because they're learning about Bildr in some other way and wanting to research. And so we need to make sure that mobile experience on the web is also good. Bildr makes it easy for you to develop for any type of screen. So obviously inside of the canvas, you see every single page designed as if it's the width of the current browser that you have pulled up with Bildr loaded into it. Now, the best tip to see what your site is going to look like as you develop is to have our live previews pulled up on your phone as you edit and change things on your screen. Under the preview tab over here, you can click into any page that we have. So if I want to click over to homepage, I'm going to see that pull up here. And then what I do is I typically copy and paste that over to my iPhone and I load it up on that screen. One thing you can do also in a browser, if you do inspect element, you can do toggle device toolbar in Chrome and Brave here. And it's actually going to give you the opportunity to see what your site would look like loaded up in different screen sizes with the screen size at the top. So you can actually shrink this and see how your site is going to react live as you go. Now I'll say a pro tip, no matter how much they say that this is what it's going to look like on these different screen widths, it's always going to be a little bit different phone to phone. So I would definitely make sure to also have this pulled up on your phone as you're developing, allowing you to get that real live user type experience. So how do you actually develop for these different screens inside of Bildr? So it's really easy. It's built right into our styling tab and our classes. So if you click into any class, you're going to see all the properties that are styled in that particular class. But right at the top here, you're going to see device. And then you're going to see these looks of a phone, of a landscape phone, and of a tablet. And if you actually even use this arrow to toggle down, you're going to see a couple other screen widths as well. As we hover over them, you see the actual pixel width that activates that certain device size. So what's important to know about how designing for different types of screens actually work is something called a media query. It's a CSS attribute that basically says to the browser, hey, if the window that this page is in is at or smaller than this specific pixel width, this is how you're going to look. And so oftentimes what you're going to design for, if I'm just doing two different versions, a desktop and a mobile phone, this is what I use. Under 768 pixels, this is the settings that I want you to use on this particular class. So let's jump over to a couple of the things that are responsive here on this page so that you can see this in action. Let's click on this container, and then let's look at this 3-column section. So right now we know in a full desktop view, these are 3 columns side by side. But if I jump into this, I see the 3 columns side by side. 1FR means 1 fraction of the total width of the container that it's in. But I can see that this actually adjusts depending on the screen width size. So we make it blue whenever there's something different about one of these media queries than the standard all device styling. In this circumstance, we go to 1FR, 1FR. So basically we go from there's 3 slots for content to 2. So then the first 2 will appear on the top row, and then the next one will jump down to the next row beneath it. And then if we go to landscape, we even go down to 1. That means in that circumstance, we're going to see all 3 of these instead of side by side, we're going to see them stacked on top of each other. So let's go ahead and play with this. And as we can tell, so I'm going to look right here on this screen. I'm going to go a little bit smaller, and we'll see it right at that, the width where it's going to jump 2 down. It's going to jump 1 down here in a second. And then as we get to that mobile landscape, it's going to jump the 3rd one down, and it's going to have those vertical stacked instead of side by side. And that's all because of this width right here, that the CSS is set for, and then the browser is listening to make sure that we're displaying what we need to on that particular page. So this is the really important principle about responsive design. You're building 4 different screens, and what you want things to look like will vary within the style classes that you already have set on the particular elements on your page. And in Bildr, we make it blue whenever it's a style class that you've already adjusted in particular.